I'm just saying he got better every year. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But we all defend Aaron Rodgers. We all crushed Kyler Murray. It's the same thing, dog. Kyler runs Cliff out of town. Aaron ran McCarthy out of town. McCarthy's now in the playoffs. Watch Kyler Murray. Watch Cliff Kingsbury get a great job somewhere in college and be unbelievable at Oklahoma someplace.
You think
or he goes and becomes a great coordinator for Belichick and crushes.
That was Alabama, maybe, Belichick.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of Aaron and a lot of Kyler. Why does one guy get crushed, the other doesn't? Bottom line is they're both so talented. You got to fire a coach. You got to get rid of a GM. You got to get rid of a receiver. By the way, Larry Fitzgerald, get me out of here. Devontae Adams in Green Bay, get me out of here. I mean, Kyler's got no friends in the locker room other than one or two guys. Aaron Rodgers, David Bakhtiari loves him. A lot of guys haven't.
Quarterbacks are a little weird guys, huh? Sometimes they're weird.
Well, we're lucky. Most are amazing. Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, they're all great kids. But when you make one employee that big, it's.
Do you think the owner regrets paying Kyler Murray all that money last year? It has only gone downhill for everyone in the organization since they gave him that money.
Okay. Would you rather not have him have Kingsbury your GM and a lousy quarterback talent?
Well,
would you rather have that?
You had him for another year, right, on the deal before you had to pay him?
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
If the Jets...
No, I did not want him on the Jets.
Okay, if the Jets had a super talented quarterback now, but you didn't like the coach and you didn't like the GM, would they be better now than a coach you like and a GM you like and lost at quarterback?
Well, we're desperate for a quarterback.
Okay.
We have been for 30 years.
Okay. I don't think teams are ever desperate for a coach. You've never heard, boy, this team is... You can always find a coach.
Definitely.
You can always find a GM. Miami and Denver, Marino and Elway went combined 40 years trying to find a quarterback.
Tough.
It's hard. So when you get one of these gold bars, one of these gems, you just make it work. Aaron Rodgers drives Green Bay crazy, but he's Aaron Rodgers. There's one on the planet. You just make it work.
100%. Speaking of making it work, Joe Burrow's making it work with a mediocre coach in Zach Taylor. I don't know. Is he good? Burrow's always confident when he steps on the field. It's something he's become known for, even if some think it crosses the line into arrogance. I don't think we're in that camp. But Burrow defended his attitude towards his talent when he was asked about it yesterday.
That's why you prepare, and that's why you practice all week, and I think you have to have that mindset as a quarterback in this league if you want to be really successful. You can't go out there scared in the moment. You have to be a little arrogant to go out there in that moment and make the plays that you need to make. And so that's really something I've thought a lot about, and something that I try to do.
Well, when you're really prepared, doesn't matter if it's a basketball player, a football player, a baseball player. When you've done the work, I don't even think it's arrogant. I think you believe you're going to succeed. I think what you can't have is the opposite of what he said. You can't have self-doubt. I mean, I've seen this when A-Rod got in his head and Joe Torre dropped him, to 8th in the batting order against Detroit? Or like when LeBron, remember that series against Dallas? When LeBron got into his head and couldn't post up J.J. Barea?
Yeah, that's the only blemish on LeBron's incredible career.
Literally, it got into his head. So I remember reading a story. I saw it. I was in Tampa one time having dinner on Dale Mabry. I think the Kennedy or Dale Mabry. It was a steakhouse, and Derek Jeter walked in with about 8 guys, and they're his crew. And I remember reading about kind of the guys he hangs out with, and he's he goes, I like optimistic guys.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for cynical, snarky guys. Got no media buddies in that room. It's all guys that make him feel good. He's like, when you get into a slump, you can't overthink a slump. Go out and hit a baseball hard.
Yeah.
If you have any self-doubt, as great as A-Rod was, listen, we've seen in baseball especially, some of the greatest hitters of all time go into awful playoff slumps. It's in there. We've seen, by the way, Greg Norman, David Duval was on fire. Then he wasn't. Ian Baker Finch, I think, was another golfer that just disappeared. The game gets in your head. So I don't know if it's arrogance, but you have to prep like hell, and then you just believe it's going to work. Self-doubt is the killer in all these.
It reminds me of college. Like, we would sit around playing video games, whatever, and we would kind of make fun of each other. You and your buddies hanging out. Dude, that shirt is so tired, blah, blah, blah. You make fun of each other. A new guy transfers in, starts hanging out with us, and is like, you guys are way too negative. You got to get positive. Like, your hair's money. All the girls want you. You made your last 2 jumpers, like, super positive, and we started being positive toward each other. You want to be around positive dudes.
Yes.
You know?
And so, self-doubt is a bad, because everything in sports is live. It's not like you write a column as a columnist. You get to couch somebody that can get along with Kyler Murray. I think it's what I do. We talked about this yesterday. It's not ideal, but it's what I do. There are certain things you have to do in certain industries. In college football, college basketball, if you want to be a top 15 program, coaching is important, so is being a salesman. Yeah. Got to suck up to 17 and 18-year-olds. Kind of gross. Pander, placate, over the top, total love, overlook flaws, immaturity. You have to be a salesman. I know, you didn't want to be. Nick Saban's like a great coach. But what really makes him a great coach is he's a great salesman. Really? That's it? Sometimes Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day, Jim Harbaugh. Going door to door. Want to buy this? Want to buy that? Michigan football, come on in. The bad news about the NFL becoming so quarterback-centric. You can't hit them. They make $50 million. They gobble up your cap space. Even B-level quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins. Got to pay them. Big money. Rules all help the quarterback now. You are beholden, and this is not something you ever want to be in any business. You're beholden to one employee. Even Belichick, Brady. It's a 70-30 split. Brady's more important. But for the safety of the league and the viability of the sport long term, they don't want you hitting the quarterback. And every year there's seemingly another rule or regulation to limit how much a quarterback can get touched. Forget hit, just touched. Now, the good news is the 5 or 6 top quarterbacks in this league are adults, and they're committed. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Herbert, Josh Allen, they are great employees. They are all in the season, all in the off season. They're great in the community. They're great in the room. They are awesome. You are beholden to them. Lots of people get fired if they leave. Yeah, Josh Allen leaves. Sean McDermott doesn't survive very long. Joe Burrow leaves, gets hurt. Zach Taylor doesn't survive very long. You are beholden to one employee. That's generally not a great business structure. And what happens, though, is also some of the great quarterbacks, 2 specifically, Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray. Yes, it's the same. A lot of ego, a lot of drama, kind of committed. Kyler Murray's on those video games, reportedly. He's not all in during the week. Aaron Rodgers, ayahuasca, rehab trips. He's not available in the offseason. I know you don't think it's the same. It is. Too much drama, not enough commitment, a lot of ego, sort of needy. I mean, Devontae Adams left Green Bay. Why? He just didn't know if Aaron's going to stick around. Sort of a loss. Did you watch him this year? Kind of missed him. By the way, DeAndre Hopkins wants out. Larry Fitzgerald retired. Aaron and Kyler, maybe different players. It's a lot of the same stuff. So this, Tennessee, by the way, great coach, great defense, great run game. Irrelevant. Don't have a quarterback. Jacksonville has all sorts of issues. Got the quarterback. Got the quarterback. So the downside to this league, which is on fire, I got some data a couple of days ago on the ratings and the metrics for the NFL. Like the NFL, you can't even compare it now to any other sport in America. It is so much more popular. We watch it, we bet it, we talk about it, fantasy sports. It's not even close. It's like there's the NFL, then let's compartmentalize the other sports against each other. But this is the downside, is that overwhelmingly the young quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Burrow, they're great. I mean, they're literally, if you have to depend on one guy, it's becoming a little bit like international soccer, Europe's biggest sport, right? International soccer, where the goal scorer, the Rooney, the Messi, the Ronaldo, you're beholden to them. I mean, the coach is basically at the discretion, the disposal of the whims of that game, that tournament, the whims of the superstar. If the superstar doesn't like the coach, have to get a new coach. And that's where we are. Arizona, GM, gone. Coach, gone. Star receiver, gone. But in certain industries, there's certain things you got to do. And in college sports, you got to be a salesman. And in the NFL, got to take care of your star quarterback. The planet's got like 10 of them. Maybe 5. J-Mac with the news.
No. Heard on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
I'm torn. You're almost convincing me that Kyler Murray can work in Arizona. Just remember, he and Cliff Kingsbury shared the same agent.
Okay.
The agent could not get them to get along. Cliff was basically like, I'm done with this.
Kyler Murray did work in Arizona. He got him to the playoffs in that division.
Yeah.
With Shanahan, Pete Carroll, Sean McVay.
That's true.
So it's not that Kyler Murray could work. Kyler Murray has worked in Arizona.
One season. He has as many playoff wins as Derek Carr. I think.
Okay.